Is that like so whenever you have an interview, the first thing they will expect from you is that what are the technologies you used in your project, at the same time on what you did in your project. Okay, the first question they will ask you is that explain briefly about your project. So normally whenever they'll ask that question, the first thing you need to say is that you need to go with all the, like, you have seen, right, in the SSIS what are the main concepts we covered in the SSIS. We covered like data flow transformations, like different data flow transformation like derived column, fuzzy lookup, fuzzy grouping, like that. And next we have seen in the control flow, when we came to the control flow, we have seen many other things like send mail task, for each loop container, for loop container, file system task, okay, and FTP task, okay, like that. We have seen many other things. So the first scenario you need to start with is you need to explain your experience. Okay, this is experience I have in software industry, and I worked on a couple of technologies. And then you need to go accordingly. Let's say before attending the interview you will be getting the job description, right? On what basis you need, like they will give you a job description, what will be about the job. Sometimes they might ask you SSRS. So see, since if they have the project entirely on SSRS, then what you need to explain only high level on SSIS, SSAS, and T-SQL. You need to go in depth with the SSRS. Okay, so based on the job requirements, sometimes they will say they will give you the requirements as SSIS and SSRS. So you need to go in depth with the SSIS and SSRS. So let's see my scenario. So what I will be doing, when I've covered many other that what are in the SSIS, and in the during the introduction time also I covered many things, right? Why use the data warehouse? In the data warehouse concepts I have covered some of the topics, like when you have more data in the OLTP, then you'll create a OLAP. For loading the data into OLAP, you'll use a fax, and like you'll use the SSIS to load the data. So let's say I am in your scenario. So what I'll be saying is that, hi, this is Bhaskar. So I'm having plus years experience in IT. I worked on couple of technologies with including SQL Server. I worked on like ab initio graphs, data staging, SSIS, SSRS, Cognos, SAP Business Objects, like that. You can cover, you can list all the technologies you have worked, and then you will say, in my previous project I worked on SSIS, SSRS, and SSIS, where I use SSIS to load the data from one place to other place. Next I have used SSRS to create a report for the business users, and I have created SSIS to build the real cubes. If you created as cubes, okay, or else you can just ignore that one. Whatever you did, you can say. So normally we will cover all the topics, SSIS, SSRS, and SSIS in all the projects. Okay, so in the SSIS you can say, in the SSIS I loaded the data from one place to other place. Like we have three different sources, the our and sometimes we got even four different sources. The four sources may be, one we are getting from the Oracle, one we are getting as a flat file, another is a SQL server, another is a DB2. There's an IBM DB2 database also, you may get data from there also. So I used to get the data from different places, and once I get the data from different places, what I do is that I load all the data into one temporary location, and after that from there I clean the data. Sometimes there may be different things. So as I said, whenever you get the data from different sources, right, so you may face many issues with the data conversions, or it might not be up to the standards. Up to the standards means, let's say in one source the state name is as CA, okay, instead of California it is CA. Sorry. So from other source you might be getting California, from other source you might be getting CA. So the data, the state is not in a standard format. So one is, somewhere you are getting CA, somewhere you are getting so from one source you are getting California, other source you are getting CA. So you need to make everything in the standardized way. Like you can create a lookup table to convert the California into short name CA, something like. Accordingly you will be creating a lookup tables. So here, so you will be doing all kind of things. You will make the data in a standard way, and sometimes you may make the data in a like somewhere they are getting year, month, and day, or they are having like two different time, date and time in two different columns. From one source I may get date and time in a single column. So like that you will standardize them. And sometimes the data format will not be same. From one source you may get the decimal, you may get the amount in after four digits after decimal, but from some place you'll be getting a amount with a two digits after decimal. So you will be standardizing them accordingly based on your business requirements. Some want let it to be top to the 4 decimals, some wants to round off up to 2 decimals, so you will be standardizing them. That all kind of things you'll be explaining them. So we covered many of the, so whatever you have seen in this classes, right, the same thing you'll be explaining. So this is the thing I got bad data, so by using fuzzy lookup and fuzzy grouping I have cleansed the data. So what you did in the fuzzy lookup first, then you need to see them. So in order to merge the data from 3 different sources, I use union all. Okay, so and the data is from some I'm getting the data from flat files. So in the flat files I'm getting like 10 to 20 files in a single. I need to load 10 to 20 files in at a single time. Then what you will be using, you will be using a for loop container, sorry, for each loop container, because there are many files, right? And then you can say since it is SSIS package, I want to capture the start time, end time. I also want to capture the event handlers like error. Then what you will be doing, you will be creating the event handlers. So you need to cover some topics regarding the event handlers, some topics regarding the data flow task, some topics regarding the configurations. Okay, we have seen the SQL Server configurations, right? How do we set the XML configuration? We change the connection string there, automatically it got reflected. So that all things you need to say about the configuration, and you need to also say about the checkpoints in SQL Server. Why do you use the checkpoints in SQL Server? Okay, so and you can also cover the breakpoints. Why do you use a breakpoint? So then you will cover each and every topic like that. So but before covering that, you will explain the project at the high level. So basic thing, you will be saying that we got the data from different kind of sources. The sources are IBM DB2 server, flat file, Excel file, and SAP files. Okay, we do even got the data from the Oracle. And after getting the data, we loaded the data into one temporary location where we converted all the data into a standard format. And once after converting, we loaded the data into different destinations. We got different data marts. As I said, data mart is a combination of data mart is means for single for separate scenario you'll create one. Like let's say I got finance, sales, and marketing. So I store the data for finance separately, marketing separately, and sales separately. That is nothing but the data mart. Okay, data warehouse and data mart is same, but when you have the data for only particular purpose, then it is a data mart. When you have the data for many purposes, then it is the data warehouse. That's it. Data mart is nothing but the smaller version to the data mart. Oh, sorry, smaller version to the data warehouse. That's it. Okay, so there what you are going to do is that in the data mart, whatever the data you got, you will be loading the data into the data mart. And after once you load the data into the data mart, you are done. Okay, so in order to load the data into the data mart, you may face many issues, because you may get the data, because whatever the data you will be getting, it is an incremental. You will be getting the changed records, inserted records. So that process you will be calling it as a delta records. Delta means changed records or new records. Okay, so that records you will be getting, and by using the merge command you will update and insert the data into the destination, because it will be done in a single shot by using merge command in SQL Server. Merge command is only available after 2008. It is not there prior to 2008 versions. Okay, that also you need to remember. So by using merge command I used to load the data. And one more important, so this is regarding the SSIS. So you covered most of the things, and they might ask you how do you store the, see, since you are loading the data into one temp table, from there you are loading into different destinations. They might ask you, okay, loading the data into the temp table, right? That process you will be calling it as a staging. Staging means you can see one thing. So you will be getting a simple example I will be saying. Okay, so the flight from Hyderabad to SFO, it wants to come through New York. Okay, so the flight can't come directly. So what the flight does, first it comes up to some UAE or something, it goes there, it lands there, it gets refuel, and again it comes here. So it's the same like the data also. You get the data into one place, instead of you clean whatever thing you want, you'll do all the process on that, then you move the data into the destination. So The cleaning process, so you are done with the cleaning. After that, they will ask you what you will do with the history. So you might even store the data as a history also. Sometimes you may store the data in the history, like whatever the data you get, next time when you get the fresh data, you will be truncating the data and loading a new data in the temporary purpose, okay, in the temporary database. So this is the way it works. Give me a minute, I'll get my writing pad. So I'm getting data from three different sources, okay, and I'm merging all the data into one location. After that, I'm loading into three different destinations: source 1, source 2, source 3. Destination 1, destination 2, destination 3. Okay, so this process, I'm loading all the data and keeping here. From there, I'm loading into different destinations, right? So here, whenever you get the new data, you might refresh all the old data and load the new data, replace the old data, and you load again the new data. Okay, so that's the thing most of the people they do. Sometimes what the people do is that when they get the new, suppose let's say I got 2 records on day 1. On day 1, I got 2 records. On day 2, they got 3 records. Just I'm giving less records, okay? Day 2. On day 3, I got 3 records. On day 4, I got 5 records. On day 6, I got 2 records. Okay? Sorry, 2 records on day 6. On day 7, I got 1 record. Okay, this is the way I'm loading now. So, what the people do is that when they get the data in the first day, 2 records, done. When they get the data on the second day, they will erase entire the first day data and they will again load the second fresh data. Okay, most they do. Some people what they do, they will not do anything. When they get the second day data, they will just add to the existing data. Whatever the data they get, they will add existing data. That's it. So first day they will have 2 records. When next day they get, they will have the 3 records. Next day when they will have the 3 records again. Next day when they come, they will have the 4 records. So this is the 4, right? Okay. So like that. Next day when they come, they will have another 2 records like that. So some people what they do, they will keep 5 days history. 5 days history in the data. Like they'll keep in this location. This will be called as staging or landing area, anything you can call. So here they will keep the data for history for like 5 days. When the 60th day comes, so day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, 5, okay. When the 60th day comes, they will delete the first day data. Okay. When the 7th day comes, they will delete the second day data. When the 8th day comes, they will delete delete from table name, where they will have some date column. Whenever they insert the data, they will have some date column when they insert it. So whenever they are coming, delete the data where dates where number of days greater than or equal to 5 or less than what they do is that they will subtract the date and today's date. Wherever the date difference is greater than 5 days, they will delete all the records which are greater than 5 days. Okay, so like that they may keep. And sometimes what they do, before loading the data into the, so I got some records on day 1, 3 records. When I get the records, 2 records on day 2, what they do, they'll create some history tables. They'll move the 3 records into history tables, truncate the 3 records. Since they are now the 3 records will be in the history table, then they will then they will insert these 2 records into that. So after on the 3rd day, if I get some 1 record, let's say on the 3rd day I got 1 record, so they'll just move the 2 records into history. So history will have 3 plus 2, so history will have 5 records, and then they'll delete the 2 records and insert this 1 record into there. Okay, like that they will be doing. And this is a process, like this is a high level process you will be saying, and at the same time you'll also say like what are the transformations you are used, right? You'll be saying each and everything. Okay, about the configurations. And in the SQL Server 2012 you got the environment variables, package parameters, and the project parameters. Okay, that all things you will be explaining them, and how you will be deploying the package. Okay, that all things you will be explaining. So by that thing, the guy who will be interviewing you, right, they will be getting an idea, right? this all concepts. Okay, this is regarding the SSIS. When you go to the SSRS, there you will be saying so these are the, so you'll be saying different kind of SSRS reports. So you'll be having the reports called dashboards, ad hoc reports, linked reports, drill down reports, drill through or linked, both are same. You'll be saying charts, you'll be saying bar graphs, you'll be saying something like the cascading parameters. Okay, that all reports you need to explain them. Okay, what you did, you can see samples like, okay, so charts, I did this one. You have seen something like, we have seen some indicators, right? We have seen some gauges, how did we did that. Okay, so you need to explain them. But before going to the report, you can say high level. So I because whenever you develop the report, first thing you need to do is that in some companies they will have the uh, business analyst. What the use of the business analyst is that they will go to the users, gather the requirements, and then they'll give that requirements to you. So based on the requirements, you will be sending the data to them. Okay, based on the requirements, you will be sending the data to them. So that's what most of the like business, some people, in some projects there will be no business analyst. So your thing is that you need to go gather the data from the users, then based on the requirement you need to develop the report. Some users want the report in charts, some wants in the dashboard, so accordingly you need to develop the report. Okay, so first before starting on the reports, you can say I worked on many SSRS reports. I created some hundreds of reports where I've created charts, I've created bar graphs, bar charts. I used like I've created like complex reports. Okay, and then I've deployed the reports. At the high level, you are going to give a description. So once you are done with the high level, then what you are going to do, then you will go and explain each and everything. Like I covered this report, like I scheduled the report. Okay, I did the caching for the reports. When do you use the caching? Because to increase the performance, right? Okay, I've created the snapshots for the report because the users need this. So that all things you will be explaining them. And see, whenever you have the SSIS and SSRS, the one thing you need to cover always is that you worked on the performance issues. So what is the performance issues? Okay, so let's say this is a kind of thing, minds. As I said, in the SQL Server, you will be having the performance issues will be because of the indexes. I said you, when we go to the indexes, I covered you the execute query plan. Okay, I have shown you the execute query plan, how you will be using the execute query plan. Everyone is clear with the execute query plan? Whenever I write the query, at the top, I'll be getting something process here. Oh, I got the cube. Okay, sorry. Yeah, let's say if I take any of the query, right? So whenever if I write multiple queries, this query may involve joining many tables. Then you will have something process called here, see, display estimated execution plan. When I click this, it will show me what is the cost it is taking me to get the data. So there is the index scan and table seek. Scan is nothing but you will get only, it will only get it will go and search directly the required records, because the data is in the sorted format. If it shows something like scan means it is going to get entire data. See why it is getting scanned, because I'm doing select star. So when I do the select star, what happens? I'm going to get entire data. Okay, so parent department group, I'll get department group keys something like 6. Okay, so now when I see, now you see here, when I do the execute query plan, now it's showing scan. What is a scan? Since I'm not filtering any data, I'm pulling all the data, means it will go and see each and every record, right? That is a scan. Now if I do something like filter, where department group key equal to 2. Now what I am doing, I am filtering the data. So when I filter this, what system should do? See, instead of the scan, it is doing seek. Seek means instead of going and searching each and every record, it will go and get that particular two records. So let's say in the dictionary you got some millions of records, like some millions of words you will be having in dictionary, like not million, like let's say some thousands of hundreds of thousand words in the dictionary. If I ask you, count me the total number of words that you have in the dictionary, so you need to go to each and every word and you need to count. That's the one thing. So that is a scan. You are counting each and everything. Okay. If I want to get the list of I want to get the word something like scan. If I want to get something like apple meaning or something sweet, I want to get the word sweet. Then what you will do in the dictionary? Directly you will go to the letter S. You will go to that page. Go to the second word letter W. Then you will see them, right? So it is nothing but instead of going to each and every word, you are directly going to that particular word. In fifth or sixth step, you will be getting that word sweet, and you can see the meaning for that, right? That is nothing but the seek. Always that is important. Okay. So remember always so whenever you have the data, you should always have seek. You should not always have scan. Whenever if the table doesn't have index, then it will always show you the seek command. Sorry, scan. Because when the in the dictionary you say you are looking for the word sweet, because in the data it is sorted, so you will directly go and get it. If you don't know assume that the data is not sorted, the words are scattered everywhere, you don't know exactly where it is located, then what you need to do, you need to go to each and every word in the dictionary, right, to find the word sweet, to get that meaning for that. That is nothing but the scan. In the same way, in the SQL Server, whenever there is a no index, since the records will not be in the sorted way, by default it will be, since the records is not in the sorted way, if you are searching for any other record, it should go and search each and everything. Okay, that all things you need to say. Even you can get how to increase performance on the database, that all things you will be getting on the SQL Server. Okay, so let's say basically the performance means, sometimes this is the common question they will ask you, is that let's say you got some queries, select star from something. Okay, I got one inner join table 1 on condition, inner join something table 2 on condition, where condition, where. Okay, so what they will do is that they will ask you, see, one more thing here, I am using where department group key is 2. When I use that condition, okay, it is taking the index seek, because there is an index on this filter column, department group key as an index. So the same way, whenever you do the joins, join columns should have index, and on what columns you are filtering the data, like you are filtering on the where condition with on some column, right, that columns should also have index. When you have them, then only the performance will be very much high. Okay, that is a couple of scenarios. And at the same time, the other scenarios are in the year. See, department ID, department group key is the index, right? I may use this way. See, I'll use something, convert varchar of 10 comma, basically convert will okay, yeah, convert varchar of 10 comma department group key. I converted it. Okay, I have converted it. Now see the query execution plan. See, how did it change it from seek to scan, right? Are you able to see my point? Control C. Control C. This is the thing I'm not converting, okay? Now when I do when I do this execute query plan, see, now it is showing seek, means it is directly getting the data, right? Now if I convert it to the varchar of 10, and now see, execute query plan, see, now instead of the seek, it is showing scan. Are you able to get my point? Hello? So that all kind of things you need to worry. Whenever you use functions and whenever you alter the column, it is not going to use the index. Remember that. Whenever you alter the column, it is not going to use the index. See, now I'll see. Index seek and scan. Seek means it will only get that record. Scan means it will get entire record. You can see the cost here. Estimated operated cost 3 to year. You can see some on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sixth line. Okay. You can say estimated input cost also. You can see here. What is the estimated CPU cost? 1647. Here see estimated CPU cost 1581. Where is 16 and where is 15? 15 is less, right, when compared to 16. Okay, that all things you can see them. That's the important thing. So what you will be doing is that whenever you have couple of queries, okay, let's say if I join this table with other table, inner join, department group is having parent department group key, department group key. I don't know is anything. Let's see. Keys. Right click on this. Oh, it's having the same thing. Check constant. Okay, so let's say I'm joining the same table 2 times. Okay, I'm joining the same, assume that I'm joining the same table. I'll name it as G1, G2. So here where G1 dot group 2 is equal to 1. I'll not do any condition. Okay, so inner join on. I'll bang G1 dot something department group key equal to G2 dot department group key. Okay, now so this all are G1 dot okay. See now when I do the execute query plan, see now it is getting from 2 tables. See, because I am joining 2 tables, right? When I click here, it will also show me the see conditions also and what columns I am joining. Okay, it is showing see department group key. It is showing 2 tables, the columns. When I click this, it will show on what columns it is being joined. So now it is doing index, scan and seek. See, remember, one thing it is doing index scan, other thing it is doing index seek. Are you able to get my point? Hello? So then so this is it is a common thing, right? So first it will go to one record, it will join with that record, next it will get the record and join. So basically it is kind of that thing. So now you'll go and see, okay, whether is there any index in place for that particular column or not. Then you'll check each and everything, and then you'll based on that you'll do the performance things. Okay, that's the important thing. Whenever you attend the interview, the first thing at the end you should cover all the performance issues. Like this is the one kind of thing that we covered, the functions one. At the same time, you'll have some other performance thing, like not only this, you'll have some whenever you create a joins, you need to have the indexes on them. And don't use the like you add the correlated subquery and non-correlated subquery, right? You can also explain that. Okay, that all things. And when you use a temp table and variable, it is better to, if you have the less data and if you don't want the data in the a different way. Okay, so then when you have the data in 3 different sources, right? Not in sources. When you want to store the data temporarily, you will be using the table variable and temp table. You have 2 options. So which one you will use? You just use a table variable because it is faster. If you don't want to alter the data, or if you don't want to do anything on the data, just you can use a table variable. But if you have used data, if you want to create index on the temp data, then it is better to use the temp table, because on the temp table you can create all the indexes, you can alter the data, anything you can do on the temp table. Okay, like that. You need to play around like anything on the data. Okay, you can go watch them, and you need like you need to play with the data, and you can cover, you see all my videos. There is a truncate and delete. When you want to delete entire data, it is better to use the truncate. And there is a union and union all. Union all will be, it will be most performance point of view, union all is best. Whenever you want to union all two data and you know that the data is not unique, like so the data is unique, okay, then you can use union all instead of using union, right? And a group by functions, that all different types of things you can say them, okay, these are the things I did for the performance tuning. And if you search online, you will get many other things also, okay, that all things you need to explain them performance point of view. That is the important thing that you need to cover them.